the SM Media Podcast Network. Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media East of Scotland football show. I'm Scotty Pike. It is always a pleasure to be your host, and we are back where there's only 3 league games, but we're going to do a wee catch up over the past kind of few weeks. Just things have been happening that means we haven't been able to come on, but we are back and we will be at it again moving forward. The league looks to be back into full order, kind of going forward, apart from maybe kind of weeks there's going to be cuts, so we'll still be on to talk about the action. Guests will be coming on starting next week as well. To join me as always to discuss the action in the East over the past few weeks, it's a pleasure to welcome as always Stephen Ferguson.
Hello Scott, it's been a pleasure to speak to you after 3 weeks off, mate. I've missed you.
It's good, mate. Yeah, it's missed you too. But as I say, we're all in terms of what's been happening. A lot to get into. Managerial changes, leagues beginning to take shape. There's a lot going on, but again, we're only 3 games over the weekend. We'll start with the league games and then cover basically 4 leagues. It was draws all the way in the second division. West Calder, who look to be, we'll touch on the kind of leagues as a whole. They're 5 points clear. Had to come from 3-1 down to get a point against Linton Hotspur. Good result for them. Again, going 3-1 up against the league leaders when you're coming up is quite good. Is a good result. They'll be disappointed though, Linton, that they haven't won.
I definitely. I think there were 3-1 up. Maybe 5 to play.
Mm-hmm. As far as I'm aware, I think they're right.
Curry and the rest of the coaching staff, they'll be kind of disappointed that they've not walked away with 3 points. But to go to the league leaders and to come away with a point, West Calder's a hard place to go, especially this season. They started really, really well.
And they're unbeaten. They're still unbeaten. Only one. Arneson's only unbeaten team in the league. But
to take a point from that is good. It's a good point, but they'll obviously feel like they should have had 3.
Yeah, they're sitting with 3 points. Obviously, I think they'd have been delirious, but I think they'll take a point based. I think they would have taken a point at the start of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think they'll be happy with that. Inverkeithing 2, Oakley United 2. Inverkeithing on 4th and 10 points. Oakley on 9 points in 8th. Probably a draw by all reports from what I've heard. Probably suited both teams.
But I think that's Inverkeithing have had quite a lot of draws so far this year.
They've drawn 4 out of 7 games. They've scored 22 goals. Top goal scorers in the league.
So so they're definitely scoring goals, but they just need to shut up a wee bit and stop conceding goals. And then
so their draws are quite interesting. So they drew 2-2 with Arneston opening game. Arneston are obviously unbeaten. Kennaway 2, Inverkeithing 2. Kennaway sitting in second. Drew 5-5 with West Calder, who are top, and drew 2-2 with Oakley. Their 2 wins have been against Lochgelly and Canoe, but they're giving the top teams so far a
run for their money.
So I wouldn't be surprised if, again, you need to obviously translate it into wins, but they can clearly score. But
they can score, but they just conceded too many goals. I think the management staff will be scratching their head on how they're conceding these goals, because they've obviously got firepower and they're obviously. You just need to, if they can close the defence, or turn their wins so that their draws into wins, they'll be right up there.
And they absolutely will. Into the third division, just one game to talk about. We saw Tweedmouth 0, Pumferson 2. Pumferson obviously without manager Darren Pegg, who has moved on. Not the only managerial changes we'll get into later on, but 2-0 victory. They Gab Peter and David Howe with the goals. And they are obviously, I think they're in a decent position, but I think that third division already looks very tight, but that puts them into 10 points. And again, it's beginning to develop as quite a tight league. But that's a massive 3 points for Pumferson, especially after the kind of couple of weeks they've had, obviously losing a valuable man like Darren, who, again, has been very, very good for them. And hopefully he's not out the game for long, but hopefully Pumferson are able to get somebody in and move on.
Well, I had a look at the team sheet, because I know the manager at Tweedmouth really well. That is Kev Wright, and speak to Kev Daly, and Kev showed me their team line, and they've recruited really well since this new person's came in. I don't know who the new person is. He's came
they
in.
got a new guy? I didn't know.
Yeah, I think they have a new guy.
Somebody can name him if you know who he is. Let us know.
Yeah. What is not? I've got it saved on my phone, but I've completely forgot who it was. But
you can tell me after the show.
They've signed it. We'll get after the show. They've signed Jerry Ottiani.
Yes, I seen that. Yeah, he was at Hull.
He was at Hull and
West Calder.
He caused us problems at East Houses. He scored a hat-trick both times he played against us. Very, very good player. They've signed the boy Mo Salah from Valley leaving.
Yeah.
They've signed the boy Niang from West Calder along too. Mm-hmm. So he's brought something, and Gab Peter along too. Gab was at Leith last year, I think he was. So they've signed some very good players there. Some very good players, and they'll be looking to hopefully try and kick on, especially with I rate the boy Jerry Ottiani really high.
He's a good player, yeah.
Very, very good player. He's very, very quick. He's direct. He'll shoot on sight, and I think being in that third division he'll stand out like a sore thumb in that division. I think he can easily go and play in the first division, no problem.
Yeah, and there's a lot. Again, that league we'll get into, but I think that league's absolute. I think all the leagues are very good, but I think that third division in particular is going to be amazing this year. Just in terms of kind of cup, some challenge cup results that particularly caught the eye. I'm just looking through Crossgates, big result for them going to Girvan and winning 2-1. They probably needed that based on the league start.
Like to say, if we go back to that, the first ever show we done, I had them finishing second. So, yeah, they'll need that. They need this confidence. I don't think Crossgates should be where Crossgates are at the present moment. So, again, with the calibre of player that they have, they should be higher up that league. So going down to Girvan and getting that 2-1 win will hopefully give them a bit of momentum for the rest of the season, so they can go and push on.
Yeah, absolutely. Just some of the other teams that went through. Kirkcaldy and Dysart beat St Anthony's 2-0 there into the next round. Burnt Island beat Irvine Vicks on penalties. Camelin 1-4-1 at home to Blantyre. Dundonald beating Pollock, I think it's a good result. Canoe beating Edinburgh 3-2. Glenrothes beating Rob Roy 2-1. Haddington 4, Dunbar 3. Edinburgh South beating Howick 4-3. Hillabeath 5. Fauldhouse 1. Kenilworth through beating Eglinton. Lochgelly 6. Thornton 4.
That's what a result that is.
What a game that would have been. I think that's two. That's a good result and good game.
Goals and a local derby along too.
Aye.
Lochgelly and Thornton very, very close to each other. It's a local derby. 6-4. That's some game for the neutral that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously as well, Lochgelly are through. Pennycook beating penalties. Stonyburn beat Luncarty. It's a good result for Stonyburn.
Yeah, definitely. It's a strong result to get through the tie, to get yourself into the next round of the cup, because if you can do it in the cup, it transitions into the league and it gives you that momentum. Mm-hmm. And that's all teams nowadays will want. It's just that one result that's going to trigger momentum and hopefully push them on for the rest of the season.
Yep, absolutely. We've also got Edinburgh United beating Vale of Leith 3-0. Who else? We've got Preston beating Berwick in the qualifying cup. Leith beat Lochore on Friday night. And St Andrews beating Edinburgh Uni. I don't think the draw's out for the third round. I think that is actually going to be dropping at 7 o'clock. We're recording this at 6:30 on Monday night. So teams will know who they're playing next. So we're not going to be Houdini and try and predict.
Thursday the 18th.
Is it the 18th?
Thursday the 18th at 7 o'clock. I see
so you won't know. So you won't know who's played. But again, like, by the time you watch this, obviously you can. But good results. Some good results for these teams, obviously as well.
The setting that one there was Musselburgh.
Yes, I was going to touch on that. Yeah, Drumchapel.
2-1 for Drumchapel.
Yeah.
Never seen that coming. Never seen that coming at all.
Two good sides again that are definitely, I think, going to be playing at a higher level next season. So again, they'll be playing in different leagues, but they're two sides that are capable of going places. So good results here. Janesfield obviously beating Rossvale. East House's difficult game.
I wasn't there. I was I was watching somebody with the same type of haircut as me ruin my team. Aye, they were missing. It's a hard tie. Shots are a Premier League,
Yeah, they're a good side.
well established junior team. They've always had good teams. You're for the West yourself, so you'll be able to know what type of team they are.
Hard working, tough to beat. 4-0 though, I'm surprised at that. But I know
Yeah,
they've got a lot of firepower shots. I just, again, one of those results that caught the eye.
there's quite a lot of boys missing for East season Saturday. Some big names, some really big hitters missing for Saturday. So once you take these boys at the team, they didn't get wrong. They still got a good squad, but when you're missing boys that make you tick, that's it's always going to be harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Just obviously as well, two teams that did beat West Sides and two decent West Sides. Dundonald 3, Pollock 2, and Glenrothes 2, Rob Roy 1. Obviously at home, but Glenrothes in particular, I think that's a big result for them.
Is Rob Roy first division or Premier?
Yes, they are. They're the first division.
First division. So that's a team that's on the up and all too. Rob Roy, if I'm right to believe. But Glenrothes, that'll be big for them because Glenrothes just normally hover over that relegation zone, and they're always just safe and no more. Again, I seen on Twitter Twitter and Facebook, they made quite a lot of signings in the last week. They've signed a couple of boys for Kelty and that and all too. So they'll look to kick on and all too because again, it's a great facility they've got up there, and they'll look to move up the league table and all too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, Cups, it's kind of that stage of the season as well. Cups are beginning to take shape, and it gives you, like, I much prefer the leagues. I like knowing leagues when they're playing against each other and kind of moving. But again, it gives you an idea where teams are at, particularly when they play kind of teams of a different level.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can
Yeah.
see the likes of like Storyburn obviously beating Lancarty, like some teams making a good account of themselves against like tough opposition. Like, again, it's very interesting. Like, again, like I was speaking to somebody at Kilwinning, they were very impressed with Dunny Pace. Like, they were very impressed with them. Obviously, Kilwinning won the game, but a
What
lot
was
of
this?
teams. Donny Pace could beat 3-1 by Kilwinning. Newton Grange lost to Neilston. Bowness going out in penalties to Newton Stewart is an interesting one. Like, difficult day for them, but there's a lot of teams in there. Like, some bad results, but again, like, they'll want to kick on and move on, and it's probably good that league games are coming up. From what I understand, at the moment, a lot of these teams that want to play in the Junior Cup won't be. That might change between now and then, but we'll see what happens. But at the moment, there looks to be a full card next weekend in terms of the East leagues. So we'll see
Yes,
what happens with that.
as I know, like I say, telling you off air that I know that Armadale are playing in the Scottish Junior Cup next week. Next week they play, I think it's Park Vale
Right, okay.
from Aberdeen.
Yeah.
I was speaking to Colin Strickland earlier on. So yeah, I full card next week. There's some very tasty games coming up this week. That's some big games. Teams needing points to get points on the board, and teams want to continue their good start to the season. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, there's teams like Luncarty are playing in the cup. I think they're guaranteed. Armadale, we mentioned. Just looking down, just briefly, Socky, I think, can play as well. Like, again, there's sides. Livy United are playing. I'm just going through the Junior Cup games here, and I'm looking out for these teams. Pomferson are playing. Like, there's obviously these teams like Storyburn. I mean, there's teams obviously playing. Camelin are there as well. Just obviously as well, I'm looking at some of the games, and I can see that some of those teams do have league games scheduled for the weekend. So we'll see what happens. But again, like, I know there's a couple of teams been told they can't play, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We're just going to run down the kind of four leagues. Before we do that, though, let's have a word for our proud sponsors at Appin Sports. SM Media's East of Scotland content is proudly sponsored by Appin Sports. Want your team to stand out on the football pitch? Then Appin Sports are here to help. Their online kit designer lets you create your dream custom teamwear range in your club's colours and with your club crest, sponsor logos, player names and numbers. Design yourself or work with their expert design team to bring your vision to life. Your order will also secure your place in their online club shop, making reordering effortless and giving supporters a place to get your amazing gear too. Head to appinsport.com to get started on giving your team a new and unique look. Right, Premier Division, Stephen, there's a lot to get into here in terms of how competitive this league is going to be. There's only one unbeaten team, which is Camelin, who've won their first 5 games. Now, obviously, they've had to postpone a few games due to, I think it was I think obviously it was a health reason with one of the players.
Yeah.
Hopefully, everything works out with them. So, but again, like Genefield lead the pack in 21 points, and then it's looking fairly tight down there. So I think we've got the makings of a really competitive division that's taking shape.
Like I said in our week 1 show, that division is going to be the best. For me, it's going to be the best division about. It's going to be so tight. There's all the teams are now. That's had them like the first 5-6 games of the season. So all the teams that are around each other are going to start playing each other now. So there's going to be drop points, and it's just going to be so interesting. It's probably the best that top tier has been since the reconstructions of the league. So, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Genefield obviously sitting top with 7 wins from 8. Musselburgh, Dunnipace, and Hill of Beath have 18 points so far. They've all played 7 games. Camelin, as we mentioned, obviously 5 wins from 5. And you've got Bowness on 14, St Andrews 13, and Haddington on 12. You've got 8 teams already. There looks to be a wee bit of a gap developing.
Yeah, I think the teams you mentioned there will probably pull away. How many was it? 2 definitely go
2
up,
definitely, 2 potential playoff.
and then 2 potential playoffs. So there's about 8 teams there vying for well, basically 2 spots at the present moment. So it's going to be tight. It's going to be very very tight. There's teams have started off really well, and like I said, the Dunnipace. I think Dunnipace beat Musselburgh. I think they beat them. Was it 1-0 or 2-0? They beat them.
So like again, Dunnipace and the Musselburgh. Dunnipace won 2-0. That was
2-0.
that was early September. Dunnipace have been really impressed with. Obviously, Genefield the only team to beat them, but they've had a really good start. Musselburgh would know what they're capable of. Hillabead as well. They've been able to kind of maintain that consistency. And again, Genefield, like the teams they're beating each other. Genefield have obviously beaten the obviously teams they need to beat, but again, like they are results so far. They lost at home at St Andrews, who are more than capable of mounting up. So again, like they're all if they're losing to each other. There's no like freak results I can think of.
I've been really impressed with St Andrews and all too. They've had some very very good results. Some very good results. I watched the highlights of the Hillabeath and Newton Grange game, and it went down to like 90 plus 4 for Hillabeath to score in the last minute. Again, I was impressed with Newton Grange. They played really well in the highlights that I saw. But again, it's Hillabeath's mentality to take it right to the wire, and they've obviously managed to win 2-1. So yeah, there's been some big results when we've not been on. But the leagues are starting to get nice and tight, and it's going to get into this winter season when games are going to get called off, and it's the winter times always where teams dip in form, and but the pitches being difficult and that and all too. So yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season so far, Scott.
Any teams out with the kind of the bottom 8 that can maybe make a move up? A couple of managerial changes, obviously. John Miller has moved from Whitburn to take the managerial job at Broxburn. Chris King has left Dunbar. Yes. And that was an interesting one. I was surprised at that because I know how well thought of he was at Linton. It just probably didn't work out for him at Dunbar.
Kingy would have gave his all. I know Kingy well. Would he gave his all. And that it's obviously not just worked out. They've appointed ex-player Darren
Smith, yeah.
Which probably got quite a lot of people talking that they wouldn't think the next appointment would have been Darren because he was still a player at Crossgates. So it's one that's been done in house by the club, so they've obviously got 100% faith in Darren. So hopefully, they took Haddington all the way, and they were 3-1 up at one point. I think they were 3-1 up at one point. They took them all the way, and Haddington obviously beat them at the weekend 4-3. So yeah, it's one of these things. So
and it's going to happen a lot. As again, we'll touch on other kind of managerial changes, but like again, like, I don't think John Miller's turning down the Broxburn job when that comes up, and nor should he. But again, Whitburn, like, there's still obviously Craig Young still there, but they're more than capable. Whitburn, I think they've maybe been a bit. They've still got a couple of games to play. I think they are out of the teams maybe in the bottom half that will be disappointed. Probably would be Whitburn that sticks out.
Yeah, I definitely. Especially after how good a season they had last year under Darren, and they've kept the majority of the squad. They kept the talisman Ross Crawford. So I thought they would have been a bit further up in the league. They've obviously not. They're kind of toiling at the present moment. So hopefully they can go to kick on all two, because that's another great setup, big fan base, intimidating place to go. So they'll be looking to obviously change results on all two. They played East Stages on all two. They played East Stages midweek and they drew 1-1, but they only beat East Stages in penalties. And from what I heard, there was quite a lot of East Stages missed quite a lot of chances that day too. So yeah, but we're not want to kick on 100% and get them up challenging for this hopefully top 4 places.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that league's just only going to get competitive. Just some of the games on Saturday that we'll cover. We actually saw Camelin, so Camelin have got one of their games in hand. Well, but remiss not to mention Camelin. I think obviously the difficult kind of couple of weeks they've had, but 5 wins for 5. They'll be hoping to make it 6 wins for 6. And they're just a team, as long as they can maintain it in terms of the management staff, I think they're in a pretty good position.
There's no ceiling for them. I think at the present moment, I think they're just going to get stronger and stronger as the season goes on. It was unfortunate what happened to the boy Jason Walton.
Yeah.
I'd like to, at the present moment, wish him all the best. Hopefully he's made a full recovery. He's a nice guy. I've came across him 2 or 3 times with being with East Houses. So anything like that happens, it's obviously bigger than football. So, but back to Camelin, they'll look to kick on. They'll all have aspirations of being in that top 2, definitely. 5 wins for 5. They beat was it Big Time and Bath in the Scottish. I think they beat them 7-1. So through to the next round of the Scottish.
Yeah.
I think they're through to the next.
The Albion Rovers, I think they got.
The Albion Rovers. So that's a very good test for them. Especially a Lowland team is probably where Camelin want to be next year in that Lowland league. So yeah, there's no ceiling for them this season. I think they're going to be right up there with, like say, Harrowbees and Musselburgh.
Yeah. Let's move into the first division again. Just a league that's really taking shape. Armadale, as we mentioned, Coco at the top of the league with 19 points from 8 games. Thornton second with 16. Really impressive start for the core. 13 points for 7 games. And you've got Preston, Herrick, Watt, Blackburn, East Houses on 12 points, Edinburgh South on 9 and 10. And you kind of top 8. Like who's can impress you the most out of the top 8?
I went to the East Houses and Armadale game at Armadale. East Houses won 2-0. A very, very impressive performance for East Houses. But away from them, Preston.
Okay.
Really, really, really impressed with Preston. I knew Steve McLeish going in there last year. The following season, he would have a strong team. Just beat Berwick 2-1. And I watched the highlights, watched the 2 managers' comments after the games, and I think Steve's going to do really, really well this year. They're going to. I think they went under the radar a wee bit in our prediction show. So yeah, I'm really, really been impressed with them. And Core and all twos from that.
Very good start, yeah.
They were a really good start. I think they were in the relegation zones.
Right, they just stayed up with the skin on their teeth last year. Right?
Just stayed up, and for them to kick on, and they're now in the top 3. But that's testament again to their management staff that they've managed to go in there and put a bit inside them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good sides again in the bottom 8 that you feel Crossgates are the one that stick out, where I think they're more than capable of going on a run just if they get some more luck. They've not been scoring goals, but They went to Leeds and got a big result. They've had a tough start, but you look at their next kind of 4 or 5 fixture and think they might be able to get a run together, and I think they're maybe the one that can come out a challenge. But there's good sides in there: Tynecastle, Kirkcaldy, Leith, Edinburgh, Whitehill, Bathgate, Clancarty. All the teams that are mentioned, like they're all decent sides. That's a really tough league.
Yeah, it is a tough league. It is a tough league. It showed that in games where teams anybody in that league can beat anybody. There's no like one team you say, we're guaranteed 3 points against them or 20 points against them. It's, you're basically you're going to have to be on your game on every game in that league because it is that tight and it is that competitive. Huh?
Yep, absolutely. Second division, West Calder sit top. We mentioned them obviously earlier. Kennoway and Dalkeith, better for Dalkeith so far this season. They've had a tough couple of years. That's a good position for them to be in.
I knew it would be though. Like, I played under Jock. I was his goalie coach, and I know Jock's standards are high. He always wants to be the best. He always wants to be up there challenging. That last year was, I'm going to say it was a freak season last year. Yeah. A complete freak season. And this year he's got Dalkeith where they are, are the third or fourth?
Dalkeith are
third. So they're up there. They're up there. They're contesting. So I always knew that Dalkeith would be up there. The Jock's a very good manager, a really, really, really good manager, and they're hard working. They're hard teams to play. Dalkeith's a hard team to play against because they work so hard with the ball. Huh? They might not have the best quality on the ball, but off the ball, they will graft for each other. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just other teams that have done pretty well. Inverkeithing we mentioned. Arniston unbeaten after 6 games, 2 wins, 4 draws. They are a side that I think are really solid again. We've only conceded 6 goals. Them and Dalkeith have conceded the least amount. Lochgelly, 20 goals scored, 17 conceded. They're just going to be fun to watch, aren't they? Like, I think they'll be the box office team. And they've showed that again in the Cup as well. Like, they can score, but they're conceding as well. So they want to kind of cut one out and keep the other one going.
Definitely. I think I'm going to put a wee bold statement out there. I think Arniston will push West Calder all the way right into the wire. I think it'll be the 2 teams that will go all the way because I know Phil do really well and he has built a really, really good side up there. Signing a couple of signings they made in the close season. They've added experience as long as youth, and it's really helped. It's really helped them this year. So I'm really what's it called? I'm really been impressed with Arniston. West Calder obviously knew West Calder. Got West Calder from last season. I knew they would be right up there because they were a very good side last year and all too. So yeah, I've been really impressed with the league. Lochgelly, they're going to be interesting. They were the league champions last year, so they've got confidence in that and all too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good sides in there as well. Obviously, Burnt Island have had a good start. Oakley are pretty solid. Linton we mentioned. Coldstream as well. Like again, they've been pretty good. They've won some games, and again they've got some good firepower up front. Was really impressed with them against Canoe and Edinburgh College. Difficult start, obviously, for likes of Stirling Uni and Edinburgh College. Hart Hill, where about with them? I know we've mentioned them quite a bit at the start of the season. I don't think they'll be happy where they're at just now.
Nah, definitely. They had aspirations to have that league wrapped up in October with their signings, and then it's obviously came back to haunt them. They won't like being where they are at the present moment. They have got quite a lot of work. They'll have work to do to go and catch up to Arniston and catch up to West Calder, and they still have. But I think they've got West Calder to play, and I think they have still got West Calder to play twice. They still got to go and play like say Dalkeith and that and all too. Yeah. So they've obviously Arniston's already played them already and beat them. So yeah, they've got work to do in that league. If they want to be where they want to be at the end of the season, which is in that top 4 places. Huh?
Yeah, and I think it's obviously going to be massive for them the next few weeks. The squad they've got is ridiculous. Like you look at the players in it, it's like they shouldn't be where they are.
They shouldn't be playing at that level.
Nah. Third division we've mentioned, obviously league leaders who Alan Fleming is no longer manager at Stonyburn, but he's left them in a decent place. Obviously, 5 wins for 8 games are sitting in 15 points. but there are 5 teams behind them in 12. 60, say five teams behind them in 12 points. Pompous and Cowdenbeath are there as well. That's got the makings of an incredible league this year.
I'm going to been really impressed with Hoyk this year.
Mm-hmm.
Some really good results this year. They've tested teams above them in the cups and that and all too. I think Hoyk will be right up there this year with Stonyburn, and I'm going to say be right up there with Tweedmouth and all too. Tweedmouth have made a couple of signings in the last 2-3 weeks that will really help them going forward. That league's going to be brilliant this year.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, what we touched on at the start of the show with Plumford making some right good signings and all too, and you've got Edinburgh Community that have made 2 or 3 decent signings and all too. So, it's looking that league's going to be very, very good and all too. So,
yeah, and I thought for this week, obviously moving forward, we would maybe pick a game from each division and do a wee predictor for the 4, maybe the game of the weekend in the 4 leagues. I think we'll go on Saturday, just Scott. We'll maybe call it Scott versus Stephen.
wouldn't it? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Right, so we'll pick the game of the weekend. I'm going to go for in the Premier Division, St Andrews versus Hill of Bede is probably the game to watch at the weekend. How do you see that going?
2-1 St Andrews.
Okay. I think I'm going to go for 2-2. I'm going to go for a wee Desmond. I think that'll be quite a cagey affair. Let's go to Lochore against Thornton in the first division. What we got for that?
Where is it?
It's at Lochore.
At Lochore. 3-0 Thornton Hibs.
I'm going to go 3-1 Thornton Hibs. I think Thornton will win that. Second division, what's the game that catches my eye most of all? I think we'll go Dalkeith Linton, maybe?
Aye, good game. Good game.
I'm going to go 2-0 Dalkeith.
3-2 Linton.
Okay. And finally, third division. Again, we're assuming these games are still on. We'll go for Tweedmouth versus Howick.
Oh.
Tweedmouth at home.
Tweedmouth at home. I wonder if that would be this. 2-0. Nah. 2-2.
2-2. I'm going to go for 3-2 to Howick. I think Howick will maybe just edge it. Mate, thoroughly enjoyed it as always. We'll be back next week where we'll have a full league. Well, I think the majority of the league are in action. So we'll be back next week. Always a pleasure, mate. Thank you.
Not a problem at all, Scott. Bye.
Thanks very much to our sponsors at App and Sports. For more East of Scotland content, follow us on social media. And we'll see you all soon.